we'll play the MBTI fast forward game on this Big Brother Australia 2014. It's right in the middle of the season, episode 24, so it's kind of trashed out, but it's okay. So here, that's Sonia. She's an ISFJ. She's a sweetheart. That's Priya. That's ESTJ. That's Leo, another ESTJ. Kind of surprising because just so if you hold in your mind, like ESTJs are not really associated with team sports, not associated with the bands, but yet they'll do gym stuff for appearances reasons. In the foreground, that's Sky. That's ESFP. She's really sweet. She's like a perfect singing voice. I think we just saw Jason, but I can't go back. I think he's an INFP. Here's Travis and Sky. They're both ESFPs. They're really good together. There's Sam, another ESTJ, and then kind of like, we know ahead of time that the theme on these Big Brothers is to throw a lot of ESTJs because they cause a lot of controversy because they're quite low on social perception and kind of willful, so they are gonna butt heads or whatever. But you kind of also catch on that things have gone a little too far here. We've seen so many ESTJs already, so you kind of catch on that this Australia as a country is very heavy on the ESTJs. So, not good for the beta corner because we have difficulty getting along with them. That guy, the announcer, if you hear his voice, like you're like, oh my god, that's ISTJ. So I'll try to rewind, but we probably won't be able to get it. The guy who said the power, if you listen close to his voice, you can you way better than random that he's an ISTJ. And then again, from the beta corner point of view, you're like, they're everywhere. The thing about the delta corner is they really are everywhere, and they're probably in your family too. So it's just like it's like I guess the girl's point of view is like, we gotta find a way to get along with them. Yeah, easy to say. Who are these people? I think that's Asia in the center. She's an ISFP. There's Kat, ISFJ. Everyone, most common type, so everyone has a ISFJ cousin. They're very sweet. And then that thing about how they'll talk about last year, all the fun you had, what they're talking about, that's their top function. That's the SI. Like, so you kind of catch on just by being around them how the SI works because it's what they talk about. They're very sweet. And then also the sweetest thing is when you realize that they're playing the empathy game where they're like, there goes I, like, to you, meaning like they're trying to, since the SI memories are so important to them, they're trying to do activities with you to get you an SI memory, and then you're like, it's the sweetest thing. I'm trying to get Lisa, the girl we see here, that's the ESTP, and Sky in the same frame or something, because ESTP girl, Lisa, ESFP girl, Sky, they pretty much fight because of the communication problems. Like this, like that's like the TI versus TE wars or whatever. So the INTPs and the INTJs are, that's their, forum topic or something. They're beating on each other. but it has real implications in real life, because you can run it from the ESTP's point of view. Like, you talk and then the ESTPs don't understand you, and then you think they're stupid, then they pick up on it with their FI, then they retaliate, and then the war is on. So it's hateful. So. There's Sandra, ISTJ, and you probably got ISTJs in your family because they're quite common too. And then so I just remember them as from a kid stuff point of view, like a kid stuff activity, like the Cub Scouts, like with your Cub Scout project is to build a model plane. And these are the guys who are like obsessed by the model plane, and they don't really care about the other Cub Scout kids. They just like want to build that model plane. And then just picture their rooms. Their rooms are full of model planes. Like, so the ones I knew were into the space stuff. So they'd have like their bookshelves full of like the Apollo program, and then they'd have like all the space rockets, you know, as built as models and so on. So they're very data oriented. And then the thing about the subtypes, like you emphasize one of their top two functions, like their top function is the SI, kind of same as the ISFJs. So they're memorization people, they memorize. And their second function is TE. So then the nice ones are the SI ones, like they're sweethearts. Everyone trusts them, etc. And I would always be like, how come I'm friends with the assholes, like the TE types? And it's because the TE types do stuff. They got more energy, and then that gives you a weird picture into the ESTJs, like, because it's really difficult to get along with the ESTJs as a beta quadrant person. But the types that do get along with them are like, say an ESFJ or something is gonna get along with them. So you got an ESFJ girl, they know very well what's going on. They're like, oh yeah, they're assholes, but I hang out with them because they're fun to party with or something. So it's the same, you can understand by analogy, like here, I'm hanging out with the bads. I'm hanging out with the asshole ISTJs, but they're not that bad. But the ESFJs are hanging out with the asshole ESTJs, and they're pretty bad, so. And then you might say, like, since we're all like, you know, curious about the ends because they're kind of rare. It's like, where are the ends? Where are the ends? And then we do see Lawson, that's ENTPs, but we don't. This particular episode, I guess, doesn't have a lot of Lawson. I think right here he's doing a magic trick with Sky. Is he? So Lawson's is really funny. Yeah. Oh, so back to the ends, like, you know, so I'm always like curious about the INTJs, like, where are they? I've never seen an INTJ on reality TV, so they're not suited for reality TV. Or maybe I have, but it's really questionable, so I don't really want to talk about it. And then the ENFJs are really rare. The INFJs are, I've never really found an INFJ on reality TV. It's like, oops. Who else? Well, it's a problem. So we don't see them. So it's not fun. Here there, Sky, ESFP, Dave, ISTP, momentarily getting along. They can't stay getting along. There's some, like, from INFJ point of view, like, you catch on that your perspective is so weird because, for instance, these guys are Delta Quadrant. Their conscious functions are your subconscious functions, and their subconscious functions are your conscious functions. So when you look at them, when you comment on them, when you everything, you're looking at them from a really weird point of view, and you see them from a perspective that no one else sees them. So for instance, it's really difficult to get along with Leo ESTJ, but the ISTJs are easy, and the way they behave around INFJs is really freaking weird, and most people wouldn't believe it. So for instance, like imagine ISTJs in your kind of public life, like your grade school teachers, like, and it turns out there's some kind of 3rd to 4th grade transition in the American system where all your before 3rd grade are alpha quadrant teachers, more or less, kind of blurring your eyes a little bit. But after 4th grade, 4th grade and after, all your teachers turn into ISTJs. So in public, they act like ISTJs in public, which is they're basically running a lot of TE, and they're running a lot of SI, and that's it. So that's how they act. And then, I know it's mean to say, but from a beta quadrant point of view, like, they're really boring. Like, it's very difficult to even stay awake because they don't have any FE in their voice, and somehow that's the part that, that's what you want in the beta quadrant, maybe in the alpha quadrant too. So they put out a really questionable impression in public. They're just they talk with a TE. They want to be well respected for what they know, etc. And they want to be valued for what they know with a TE. And then if you don't value the TE, like if you have TI, you don't care about TE. You want things to make sense in terms of the TI. So you can give them a complex or something if you're a TI user, because you don't value what they want to be valued for, and they get upset, whatever. So there's all kinds of stuff going on. But the weirdest thing is, like, okay, they talk in public, your teachers, that's the way they talk. But if you talk on one-on-one with them, they're entirely different. What they do is they think it's fun to talk to the TI users because they have the TI in the 6th position. So they'll basically run their heads, they'll run their mouths, and act like completely different people. They will talk with the TI to you as a TI user, and they think it's fun because that's their internals. They're talking about and then they'll talk right to you. They're very SI oriented, so they'll talk out all these weird things that happened in the past. And if you don't have SI, you're like, how are they talking like that? Like, they're concerned about things that happened so long ago, that kind of thing. But the curious thing is that they will talk right to you, and it's very personal. So in public, or public meaning like there are 3 people around, they are not personal whatsoever. They're TE users, blah blah. So they're just doing what's expected of them with the TE. But one-on-one, they're very personal, and it's just like there's a sense of like, oh my god, these people act, they're actual real people, where the way they present themselves in public is like they're just doing their jobs or something. And then the thing which to me is a kind of shock is the INTJs are exactly the same way. Like, if you got an INTJ, say you're at university, and that's probably where you're gonna meet your first INTJs. That's what happened with me. So the INTJs in public, same thing. If there's 3 people around, they're just talking with the TE, and they're quite formal with the TE. But then if you interact with them one-on-one, they're entirely different. They will interact with you with a TI, and they'll talk right to you, same as the ISTJs. That's their internals, and then you feel like you're way on the inside with them. Arguably if you're a TI user, but definitely if you're INFJ. And it's spooky. It's basically like you can just meet them. So just to explain, I know we're getting far afield to talk about the INTJs, but it's hard not to. So what they do is, say you meet an INTJ, officially a stranger, they somehow test you, and then I don't know what they're doing, but they test you if you're an NI, and also they test you for goodwill. So those things together, somehow, and again, I'm not sure even what they're doing, so I don't know how you pass the test, but you're gonna pass the test, and then they're super friendly towards you as an INFJ. So INTJs are sweethearts, and it's kind of weird how different they act in one-on-one versus in public, so that kind of thing. So also, it's worth saying that this thing about the subconscious, like, it's subconscious and it takes a lot of energy to run your subconscious functions. So when the ICJs are talking to you with the subconscious, they can only do it for a short period of time. And then the painful part about the INTJs is the same thing, because here you're talking to them, and then like the way, like, your probably most intense interactions with the INTJ might actually be one of those weird, like, problem set sessions or something. So INTJs are very logistical, so they might arrange a problem set session, and then if you go to their problem set session and solve tech problems with them or something, it's the weirdest thing, because they can interact with you perfectly for like 5 minutes, and then they'll talk to you with a TI, but then they get burned down, and then they have to eject out, and they cannot be around you anymore. They have to go interact with the TE people. So that gives you a picture of what it's like if you're using your subconscious functions. You can do it. The INTJs are very powerful, and they have a lot of TI, but they can only use it for a short period of time, so 5 minutes. So, and then it's a very weird experience. Like, you can talk to each other perfectly for 5 minutes, but think for the length of a phone conversation, you're completely on the same page. Everything they say you understand, everything you say they understand, and it's really good. But then it's basically 5 minutes later they're burned down, and they have to go back to their conscious functions. And basically it's strange if they're the ones organizing the problem set session. Like, there's a girl INTJ I did problem sets with, and we're such good friends. Like, I was the one she would like call first, etc., etc. And she's very clever, very good at all this tech stuff. And this phenomena would happen, like, I'm really good with her for 5 minutes. At the end of 5 minutes, she has to go talk with the ICJs, because they're the other TE users, that kind of thing. So it's kind of a painful feeling. You're really good, but only for a short period of time, and then you have to go back to your own quaders or something. So here's where they get kind of kicked out of the house. The Lawson and Kat, that's duality. They're really perfect together, and they violated one of the FI rules or something. I don't know the exact details, but Lawson has a girlfriend on the outside that he partially broke up with, but partially didn't. And then Kat kisses him, and then they both get thrown out because Australia is apparently a heavily FI culture. Like, you're not supposed to break the rules. Here's interquadrant fights, or the aftermath. These guys are fighting. That's Lisa, ESTP, David, ISTP. But remember, interquadrant fights are never very serious. So thank God for that. I need forgiveness. And that's the end of it. So I tried like several times to make this video, and it was all unwieldy. I had microphone problems. Hopefully this one will work. So in any case, kind of like a little downhearted with respect to the whole situation, because I really wanted to see how the ends interact, but we didn't see them. Bye.